Hey, welcome to Screenplay Junkie. My name's Drew Hellmich, and I love screenwriting and everything there is about movies. But before anything makes it to the screen, it always begins with text on paper. So if you're a fellow addict of film and storytelling, join my brothers, Matt and Bryan, and I as we take a look at various types of screenplays, short stories, and other source material that were crucial to the creation of the stories we all love. There will be spoilers, though, so I do recommend being familiar with the title that's being discussed. Sound good? All right, then let's get started. Welcome back, fellow story addicts, to Screenplay Junkie, episode 47. Drew, Matt, and Bryan here.
What's up, Drew?
Hello.
Hey, Bryan.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm sad to be on the phone again, guys.
Yeah, I don't like it. I prefer when you're here.
I know, right? It's such a different show, for me at least, because being there is just a way better experience.
Yeah, I feel like it makes it a lot easier for you. Like, if I was on the phone, it'd just be harder to stay in the conversation.
It would be weird.
Yeah.
You do
it's just
well.
all ears, I sit here and I'm just I just kind of stare at things and then just kind of really focus.
You should have some pictures of us in your room that you can just pretend like you're talking to us.
Yeah, we should do that for you.
Yeah, nice.
Or maybe just some drawings, some stick figures.
Yeah, try to visualize that you're here in the room with us or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just close your eyes. No, he's probably just going to fall
I'm
asleep.
here.
Yeah.
I'm actually here right now.
He's going to fall asleep.
Hey, guys. How you guys doing?
I want you guys to close your eyes because do you remember watching Shrek at an Indiana movie theater when we were, 8, 9 years old?
Yeah, I do remember that. Wait, that was in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
It was probably the only movie
can't.
they were playing at the theater because the theater had one big screen in the whole theater.
Maybe. I don't remember
Maybe
the
two?
interior of it, but I know we watched this movie when it was out in theaters in Indiana. And
I do not remember this.
You don't remember that? Well, you were probably too young. But we watched this movie, and then do you remember what we did afterwards?
Swam in a pool?
No.
Ice cream?
No.
I have no idea.
We went to Steak and Shake.
That sounds like an amazing evening. Sounds like a...
Yeah.
Man, I would do that tonight. I'd see a movie and go to Steak and Shake.
Yeah, you're just spoiling
Sounds
yourself.
awesome, yeah.
They got good French fries.
They do, little shoestring guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, Steak and Shake, plug. You're welcome.
Yeah, we usually don't do free ads, damn it. Feel free to sponsor us.
But we got Shrek today, so let's talk about all things Shrek, okay? So the first movie came out in 2001.
Oh, dude, that feels like it was so long ago. 2001.
Yeah, it's weird,
It's
man.
no wonder, Bryan, you don't remember seeing the movie in
Yeah,
theaters because you were
definitely.
4
3
years
years
old.
old.
Yeah, exactly, 3 or 4.
Yeah. And then Shrek 2 came out in 2004. Shrek the Third was 2007.
There's every 3 years they're just pumping one out. It looks like.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then 2010 is Shrek Forever After. Every
Right.
3 years.
Have you guys seen all of them?
I've seen up to Shrek the Third. I've never seen Forever After.
I think I've seen 1 and 2. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember the third one. I definitely have not seen the fourth one. And for future, they're coming out with Shrek the 5 for a release date of 2022. And then other stuff they have that's out is a TV show, which is apparently called Shrek's Swamp Stories, and that came out in 2008. And it does have
Never heard of that.
It has the original cast.
Wow.
I did see. I thought they were.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah, I thought they would have random people in there. And then finally, there's a musical, and it's called Shrek the Musical 2013, and it's
Is it on ice?
it's I'm not sure if it's on ice, but it's actual people. It's not animated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
Right.
I mean, it'd be more interesting if it was on ice. I don't know. Coming from me.
Yeah, and then Dumb and Dumber on ice or something.
Oh my gosh. They have Shrek
Why don't
video
we take
games.
a plate
They have some
and
Shrek
put
video
it on
games.
ice?
Thanks, Bryan. But you guys hear what I'm saying, right? There
Yeah.
are Shrek video games out there. There's
Oh.
there's all kinds of Shrek content.
Yes.
There's probably books. There's action figures.
Yeah.
I mean, even Shrek, Shrek
Costumes.
itself now has like been an ongoing meme on the internet. I've seen a lot of like Shrek memes.
Really?
Yeah, him popping up around like weird edits and stuff. Shrek is still in society and internet today. I mean, they're still coming out with one, so.
Yeah, Shrek is relevant.
Yes.
If they're making the fifth one, you just won the argument there, Brian. I mean, if they're making a fifth one, it's still relevant.
Yeah. But I mean, before its relevance, it was apparently based on a children's book, but we'll get to that later. And since we mentioned that there will be a Shrek 5 coming out in 2022, do you guys want to, give some ideas of what you think Shrek 5 is going to be about?
Yeah, I mean, I think the people at DreamWorks are definitely listening right now. So let's just toss them some ideas.
Okay, it's only like one or two, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. All right, so I mean, we'll just like throw out some titles because obviously the name of a movie is key. Like,
yeah,
you got a good name, everyone's going to want to see it.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a no-brainer. So how about Shrek 5? Get out of my swamp. And in this one, Shrek has to kick his kids out of the swamp after they've been watching too much Breaking Bad and they've been cooking fairy tale meth.
See, this one really caught my attention. I'm pretty excited if they go this direction.
I think it'd be sweet.
I mean, based on the logline, is this like a PG movie or is this going to be rated R?
Dude, it's Shrek. Of course it's PG.
Okay.
I mean, clearly,
fairy tale meth?
That sounds like a perfect kid's story. You don't think so?
I guess so.
All right, well, I mean, that was Get Out of My Swamp. But here's another one. Shrek 5, Shrek gets a kidney stone. And, that one's pretty self-explanatory.
So this is like a story about just self-health and...
The whole movie, yeah. He's just passing a stone.
All right, okay. So it's a... Oh, I think
the kidney stone has layers.
It's a continuous shot movie.
Oh, God.
Oh, I think that's what it is.
It's like Osmosis Jones, and they go in there, and you're like...
Oh, God. And then we got Shrek 5 Swamp Thing, and that's where...
Oh, that's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, this is like more horror-oriented, but I guess still PG.
It's good for kids.
Still PG,
it's good, you got to scare your kids a little bit, and that way they respect you.
Yeah, and this is when Shrek decapitates everyone in the Duloc Kingdom and puts their heads on pikes and squeezes the juices from their spleens, like he said in the first movie to Donkey.
Yeah, I honestly wondered when he said that in the movie, I was like, has he done that? Like, is this a thing? Is this like
He's
the
an
gruesome...
ogre, he does a lot of things.
Yeah.
At some point in his life, like, did he eat a person?
I don't know, maybe. He likes to scare people. I mean, you'd have to think at some point he did.
All right, so let's get to another idea here. So Shrek 5, how about Shrek 5, happily forever and ever after forever and ever. So this one, one is just, it's all the other movies combined and just with some like Kenny G smooth jazz playing in the background.
Wow.
Sounds like a cash grab to me.
It's a cash grab, yeah, for sure. I mean, how about that title, man? You're like, you guys are all like ready to go. You guys are ready to watch that movie.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
All right, another pitch here. Shrek 5, Meet the Parents. So this one's a ripoff of the movie Meet the Parents. Wait, hold on. Wait, has Shrek he's already met Fiona's parents, right?
Yeah,
which one?
Number 2.
Damn it. All right, well, wait, have they met Shrek's parents yet?
I don't think so.
All right, boom, we're good. No. Shrek 5, Meet the Parents. It's a lock.
Meet the
Lock
ogres.
It in. Meet the ogres, yeah. It's a better title. I like it. All right, well, how about this one? Shrek 5, Shrek Goes to College. Okay, so this one's a ripoff of Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield. So Shrek's going to join the university diving team with his son, and he's going to do the triple Lindy to win state in the diving competition.
Wow. Seeing Shrek do some flips would be great.
Have you guys seen Back to School?
Yeah, it's hilarious. I love that movie.
Yeah.
It's just a classic 80s movie. But yeah, Shrek, diving team. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one, it's maybe a ripoff. Maybe it's another ripoff. I don't know. So it's Shrek 5, Donkey Daycare. Donkey and Shrek open up a daycare, and they are just way in over their heads.
You see, I like this one. I think this one will sit well with the producers because it's a familiar title mashup of a movie that already exists. And not only Eddie Murphy was in Daddy Daycare, and he's Donkey, so he'll be able to reprise his role in this.
You're really catching on to my angle there. Yeah,
perfect.
We want to make it easy on the audience here.
All right.
So here's another one. So definitely not a ripoff either. Shrek 5, Honey, I Shrunk the Swamp. Okay, it actually is a ripoff of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. But instead of shrinking the kids, he shrinks the whole swamp. And, then they got to go live at a hotel.
This one's great because I actually think they're trying to get Rick Moranis to get involved with this film as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's been retired for quite some time. I mean,
Yeah, he has.
Rick Moranis. That's a hell of a movie. Right?
I would love it. I love Rick Moranis.
These are just free ideas we're giving out.
Yeah.
I mean, reach out to us at any time. DreamWorks, just reach out at any time.
Yeah.
Okay, so another idea: Shrek 5, Fairy Tale War. Again, PG, totally PG. War breaks out in Duloc, and Shrek leads the Gorgonites to victory after beating Lord Farquaad and Major Chip Hazard in a 2-on-2 basketball game. It's like something like Avatar. A lot of deforestation in the swamp, and Shrek, he's just not having the deforestation. He likes his trees, Shrek.
Yeah. But so they're like, well, maybe
Protect the swamp at all costs.
I think this is probably like when the printing press was discovered. So then, like, paper is on demand right now, and that's what they need to do. All the nights and stuff, yeah.
Paper.
Yeah, I would say so. I like it.
All right, you're gonna like this one too. Then, I mean, I don't know. How could they not make this? Okay, Shrek 5, Shrek Claus. This one's a ripoff of the Tim Allen movie Santa Claus, and Shrek accidentally kills Santa, and he has to assume all of his jolly responsibilities. So yeah, just Shrek the halls. I mean, this one. I mean, come on, you got look at this. You got they released it in December around Christmas time.
Good.
It's
$1
billion.
They have to.
I guarantee $1 billion.
Yeah. I mean, Shrek's already green, so he's already rocking some Christmas colors himself.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Perfect.
He would look great in Santa's little outfit, or it's not little, it's big, right? Because he's got a big belly already.
Yeah, they're both big.
He probably likes eating cookies. I think this is a win-win for everybody.
Why not?
This one's pretty exciting here. We have Shrek 5, 16 and Pregnant, Peter Piper pipes. High school nerd Peter Piper forgot to use a Jimmy. So, we got Peter Piper involved in this one, and as you know, in the second and third, Shrek has children.
Yeah, I mean...
So it's a little down the road, a little future. They fast forward in this one to Shrek 5, but should be entertaining.
I mean, I agree 100% here. Just adding in Peter Piper, it's the fifth one of the franchise. You got to be adding other characters. People are getting bored of the usual characters. So, yeah, Peter Piper.
How is this PG?
What do you mean, man? This is clearly PG.
What do you mean?
All these titles
it's not showing anything.
I mean, they're just a log line, Drew. There's a lot of depth to these stories here, and we're just not. We don't have time to get into it.
All right.
Okay. Now we have Shrek 5 entering the real world. Shrek gets real and has to find a real job. A custodian, a mailman. Find out. So this is Shrek just like leaving the swamp and really just trying to find a real job and get involved in the world.
Wait, is this like he comes into the real world actually? So it's like, what is like? It's kind of like where they did the cross dimension thing of like Timmy Turner going into Jimmy Neutron's world.
Okay, I see what we're doing here.
All right,
I think this is pretty low budget. I like this idea.
Super low budge. It's low budge.
I thought we only had 2 ideas. This is.
I think we're just making these up as we go.
I think this is good. I mean, DreamWorks again. Reach out at any time.
Yeah. Why are
just fire ideas over here?
Why aren't we in the DreamWorks writers' room right now?
Yeah,
pitching these ideas to these producers.
Call us. Give us a call.
Okay, we got Shrek 5. It's Shrek, foo. Shrek and Mr. T head to Kingdom Far, Far Away and have a boxing match. So Mr. T signed some papers, read the screenplay for this one, really wanted to try to get involved, and he's ready to be involved in this one.
Yeah, I mean, if Mr. T's involved, I don't know how this is just another no-brainer.
I mean, it makes sense. We've already seen Shrek in the ring, like in the first one.
Yeah, we saw what he could do.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
A beast.
I love it.
This one should be on pay-per-view.
And another one we got is Shrek 5, Chef Shrek. And this one was about Shrek, who is now a renowned chef, creates a new tasty snack called Ogurt, something like yogurt. But things go awry when the health inspector and the Muffin Man's wife suspects human child labor and health code violations.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I
mean, definitely.
It could get pretty crazy. Ogurt. I would love to try some Ogurt.
Ogurt.
Yeah.
What does he make it out of?
Yeah, it puts Danimals to shame. And then we got Shrek 5, Shaquille O'Neal, Basketball Diaries of the NBA's first professional ogre athlete. So that's if you like 30 for 30s or anything like that.
History,
yeah. If you're a real sports nut, you're gonna go.
It's like a really heartwarming film.
Yeah,
I mean his post game was unreal.
Yeah, he was 110%.
Unreal. And then we got one more here. This one's called Shrek 5. It's the 5th one. Now come and pay money to see this, you asshole. But that's a working. It's a working title.
Yeah, definitely PG with that word in the title.
Yeah.
I would say.
Why do they keep making these movies? I mean, it's unreal. For money, right? That's the only reason. Shrek 5. Does anyone care anymore?
Shrek Green Money. I mean, come on, dude. They're just making money. That's it. It's a title people know and they're familiar with, and you'll keep watching it. That's it. That's all it is.
Well, hopefully they just make one of our ideas because they're all obviously way better than anything they're going to come up with.
Right. Well, let's talk about the real movie here, the first one.
The OG Shrek.
You know where I'm going with this, Matt. I don't have to say anything.
Let's do it. So Shrek came out in 2001. 2001, May 18th. I'll go ahead and read the logline. A mean lord exiles fairy tale creatures to the swamp of a grumpy ogre who must go on a quest and rescue a princess for the lord in order to get his land back. My swamp.
Yeah.
My swamp. I'm surprised that it's in order to get his swamp back.
Yeah. Instead of land,
you know.
I mean, he really.
But it's okay. I like that one.
It works.
This movie moves really fast, which is great.
It does. There's a lot going on. It was directed by Andrew Adamson and Vicky Jensen, 2 people. And the original book was written by William Steig, but 6 people are credited for writing this screenplay. I'm not going to read all their names. I mean, 6 people to write one story, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Is that common, Drew?
I mean, it really depends. Like, I'd say for animated stuff, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, even with shows, like, there's a lot of people in writer's room and stuff, but yeah, it's more common than you would think. I mean, it's anybody, whoever likes to write out there, it's hard to imagine that because most people write by themselves, right?
Don't you think it'd be like hard though? Like you'd be butting heads on ideas. It's like who has control?
Yeah, it would be tough, definitely.
Starring in Shrek is Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, and John Lithgow. He voices Lord Farquaad, which is hilarious because Lithgow's like 6'5", and Farquaad is like the smallest guy on planet Earth.
4 foot, yeah.
All right, so they made the movie for $60 million. That's a lot for an animated movie in 2001.
Yeah, seriously.
But the movie made just under $500 million worldwide.
Great job.
No wonder they're making Shrek 5.
Oh, yeah, it's a money-making machine,
man. That's why. All right, let's do some trivia. This stuff's pretty good. So Steven Spielberg was originally going to produce the film in 1991 when he was in charge of Amblin Entertainment. Then the film would have been made in hand-drawn animation.
Okay.
And was going to star Bill Murray as Shrek and Steve Martin as Donkey.
Yeah.
Man, that would have been different.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
That would have been interesting. Real different twists on the film.
Bill Murray as Shrek. I just can't imagine that.
No way. And then Steve Martin as Donkey? No.
Yeah, this is also tough to imagine. Okay, so Shrek was also almost made in stop motion animation, like Robot Chicken.
Okay.
Or like, what's that movie? Like Willis and
Gromit.
Gromit.
Or like
Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Chicken Run.
Chicken Run. Yeah, it would have been something like that.
Okay.
So speaking of Chicken Run, like chickens are in cages. Well, Nicolas Cage, see what I did there? He was initially offered the role of Shrek, but he turned it down because he did not want to look like an ugly ogre.
Oh, come on,
2013,
dude.
Cage admitted that he...
I thought he was looking for the National Treasure still. That's why he turned it down.
He was hoping for National Treasure 3, yeah. But in 2013, he admitted that he regrets the decision, obviously. And he explained that when you're an animated character, in a way it says more about how children are going to see you than anything else. So I didn't care about that.
Well, I'm glad that Nicolas Cage turned it down because Mike Myers kills it.
It's so fun. Yeah, it's amazing. Although it's kind of like the same voice as Fat Bastard from Austin Powers. In a way. Yeah, just like Scorpion.
Yeah,
that's true.
So this movie, Shrek, it heavily parodies fairy tales in general, but it also explicitly pokes fun at Disney movies such as Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Okay.
In the movie, Fiona is singing with the bluebird, right? That's making fun of it, kind of, or just referencing it. Another reference is when Shrek and Donkey are gazing at the stars, sleeping. That's a parody of The Lion King, where Simba is taught about the great kings of the past by looking at the stars.
Yeah.
Another example is when Fiona is becoming a permanent ogre via mist. That's a parody of Beauty and the Beast, right, where the beast turns into a human at the end.
Yeah, okay.
And then Donkey flying in the movie, towards the beginning of the movie, you know, when he gets like that little potion on him.
Yeah.
That's a parody of Peter Pan and Dumbo, who are flying characters in Disney movies. So I don't know why they deliberately did that. But another case of when they did that is for the Welcome to Duloc song, right? Well, that is a parody of Disney's It's a Small World, and it is in the same key as It's a Small World, and is the same beats per minute or tempo as the Disney song.
I have no idea what that is.
It's just like, I don't know why they went out of their way so much just to like copy Disney or like I don't know if it's taking a shot at him. I don't know what it is, but like it worked. This movie's really popular and good. I always thought it was a Disney movie, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just because, like, isn't Cinderella in the mirror or like Sleeping Beauty, right? Aren't they in the mirror with the choices with Fiona?
Yeah.
So how's that not illegal?
Well, Snow White is and Cinderella are.
I wonder how they got away with
just
that.
using the characters?
Yeah.
I don't know.
'Cause
I have no idea.
Prior to the movie's release, Shrek was viewed by DreamWorks lawyers. And there were concerns, obviously, that Disney would sue over the movie's not so subtle. I just said subtle. Not so subtle satirical references to the company's films and like their theme parks. But somehow it was deemed okay, and they didn't get sued.
Cool.
So in 2007, a DreamWorks executive said that Shrek not only saved the company financially, but it also gave DreamWorks Animation an image that allowed them to make Madagascar in 2005, Kung Fu Panda in 2008, and How to Train Your Dragon in 2010. And those are all really good movies.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's right. This catapulted DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Because I can't even think of a DreamWorks production before Shrek.
So now every DreamWorks picture you see, too, that's a cartoon, it has Shrek sitting on the crescent moon fishing, right?
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it's always Shrek now.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he created everything for them, so
yeah.
that's how they honor Shrek.
Nice. Awesome.
Okay, this is wild. So voice acting, right? How do you guys feel about that? You think it'd be harder or like easier than actual acting?
Probably harder.
Yeah, I've never done it, so I have no idea. But the principal actors for Shrek, right, like Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, they all read their parts separately, never together, with a reader feeding them the lines. So they all never were sitting together recording.
Interesting. I'm assuming you're going to go on and tell us why.
It probably was just cheaper to do it that way, to like coordinate their schedules and fly them all out at the same time to a studio to record. It was probably just really hard to do that. But the actors have said in interviews that they wish they could have done that together. Oh. They feel like their performances maybe could have been a little bit better.
Well, I mean, it sounds great when you watch the movie.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, I mean, that makes me think, it's like, damn, if they were all together, it could have been even better.
Yeah.
All right, I know you guys know this. Maybe the audience doesn't. Chris Farley was originally cast as Shrek.
That's right.
And he even recorded almost all of the original dialogue. However, after his death, the role was given to fellow Saturday Night Live performer Mike Myers.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
And Eddie Murphy, too, SNL alum.
Sure.
Yeah,
a lot of funny people involved in this.
What do you guys think? I mean, we already said, like, Nicolas Cage was considered, and then Chris Farley did some...
I think Chris Farley would have done well.
If he didn't die, he would have been Shrek if he didn't die.
Right. But then Mike Myers came in after.
Well, what's interesting, too, is... Go ahead, Brian.
Do they have, like, the audio tapes, like, released at all? Or
yeah.
Can you find those?
You can YouTube it and watch it.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and Farley's version of Shrek was completely different, too. When he died... Mike Myers wanted them to rewrite the script because he's like, I don't want to try to do what Chris was doing. I got to do something different.
That's what I was going to say.
Him.
I was wondering, like, what did the story look like when Chris Farley was attached to it?
Well, the story was about Shrek not wanting to scare people, but wanting to become a knight.
Oh,
so, yeah. So he was just trying to be like a good guy, essentially.
Oh, all right.
Right. But yeah, Mike Myers took over. He did an awesome job with that Scottish accent.
Yeah.
He improvised tons of lines in the movie, which is cool. And he actually originally voiced all of the lines in his natural speaking voice. Then he tried a Canadian accent, and it didn't really work. So then he went with Scottish, and they loved it.
Yeah. I mean, it just works for, like, where this thing takes place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, too.
Like, Knights originated in, like, the UK, or as we know, Knights are mainly based in the UK, so...
It's cool. It's a nice little touch.
Yeah.
And what's crazy, too, is, like, they re-recorded it, right, with his Scottish accent that he came up with. That cost him $4 million extra to do that. Yeah. But,
wow.
Hey, an extra $4 million to make $500, who cares?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, so Shrek has his own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Really?
Yeah. Own star. He's a $500 million man. I mean, all the movies together, I bet, are over $1 billion.
They have to be.
Yeah. Number 5, coming out in 2022, baby.
Well, I looked at the second one to see what the budget was because we just said the first one was 60. The second one was 150 mil.
Wow. Budget?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. All that animation is a lot of money.
That's why he has his own star on Hollywood Boulevard or whatever. Speaking of stars, too, the song All Star by Smash Mouth is heard during the opening credits.
Yeah, and Smash Mouth at the end, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, did like Smash Mouth become popular because of this movie? Did they like owe all of their success and fame to Shrek?
No, I don't think so.
No? They were famous before? Damn it.
I mean, I don't know what year that single came out, but I mean, if you look at like a lot of late 90s, early 2000s, Smash Mouth is in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, Frosted
like
Tips.
Like
they were
Rat
all over
Race.
the place, too. Frosted Tips at that time?
Yeah.
That was like the thing.
Yeah.
Smash Mouth.
Frosted Tips.
You think they still make music?
Maybe.
I don't know. Well, anyways, computer animation production started on this project on October 31st, 1996. 1996. And the movie came out in 2001, 5 years. And it took, 5 years to complete.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I know, man. The amount of work, I wonder, like, the amount of hours, obviously, over 5 years.
The animators put in, it's
really impressive.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
It's like breathtaking, It's super impressive, exactly.
What's crazy, too, is that there are 36 unique locations in the movie Shrek. So that's more than any other computer animated film had ever done at that time.
Oh, okay.
So this movie is, like,
shit.
it's a pioneer.
It was ahead of its
animated
time.
Movies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. And, I mean, like, just looking back at it, like, watching it, for it taking place or for it being made in 2001, it looks great. Like, that animation was, like we just said, way ahead of its time.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It does. It holds up for sure.
So, we said earlier, Shrek Forever After, that's the fourth one, right? Is that right?
Maybe.
I think it's fourth.
I don't know.
Well, McDonald's had released a promotion of Shrek-themed glasses with a purchase of a Happy Meal, right? For Shrek 4. And however, shortly after being released, these glasses were recalled due to metal cadmium being detected in the decorative paint using for the images on the cups. McDonald's gave cancer to children.
Good. That's a good idea.
Good job.
Maybe that's what Shrek 5 is about.
Isn't that crazy?
It's terrifying.
What the hell is cadmium? The fuck is that? I don't even know.
No idea.
It sounds poisonous.
Yeah, it does.
And lastly here, there's a fan movie on YouTube where over 200 people collaborated to make Shrek Retold. It is a shot-for-shot recreation of the original film Shrek. It does not use audio from the original movie, or it uses like very little. And watching it literally makes you feel like you're on drugs. It is utterly insane. Like every few seconds or every minute, it changes to a different animation style.
Yep.
Sometimes it's people in real life, like dressed up as the characters. But in terms of like shot for shot, like it's accurate, it's dead on, and good God, it is weird as hell. It's also so impressive though.
I watched it for like a minute.
It's insane. Did you like skip through it all?
No, I just watched the part where I hopped in was like when Lord Farquaad is torturing the gingerbread man, and I was just like, "What is this?"
It's trippy. It's so weird.
Yeah,
it's weird. Check it out though, Shrek Retold if you want to. It's so weird. And that's all I got.
Script info: Shrek, written by William Steig and Ted Elliott. The script we had was 75 pages, but that is not right. It should be around 90 because this movie is an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. And there was no script date or draft.
It's a script, though.
Yeah, it's a script. I'll talk about it. We've never read a script of an animated movie before on the show, and I mean, I don't think I've ever read one in general. So I was excited to see how a writer handled the story of an animated film in the script because I have no idea how that works. Right?
It's different.
But depending on the script, it can be difficult to locate a real version. Like it's crazy, like searching the interwebs for a screenplay, a legitimate version of the screenplay at least. And I think, unfortunately, for the script of Shrek that we found, I don't think it was real. I mean, maybe it was, I don't know, but I thought it was just overall like really disappointing. And it was weird because I found it on a website, a script website that is legitimate, but maybe there's not a script of Shrek out there that is real. I have no idea. Maybe there is, but it's just hard to locate.
Or maybe the one you had was just such like an early draft, like where, like you said, it's not even formatted right.
Yeah,
like,
that can make sense.
I'll talk about like the issues, but I mean, did you guys read it though, or no?
No.
Okay, yeah, it's fine.
No.
I did,
no,
however.
I mean, I told you guys didn't have to. But.
I read I watched someone else read the children's book though.
Yeah,
Shrek,
right.
That was also written by
Steig.
William Steig.
William Steigs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Steig.
So let's just talk briefly about why I thought the screenplay was disappointing. And that was how you already said, Matt. And it was because it was formatted pretty weird, and it was actually quite annoying to read at times because lines were just jumbled all over the place and indented and all these myriad of ways that were really annoying. And overall, the description of action of characters doing things was pretty boring, and it was just really vague, and it didn't look professional to me. And yeah, man, I just didn't really enjoy reading it that much.
Yeah, well, good thing me and Bryan didn't read it, right, Bryan?
Yeah, like you're talking down on it.
Dodged a bullet.
Well,
right there.
like the dialogue, I like to read because when I was reading the dialogue, it was like I just saw the movie playing in my head, which was cool. Okay. But I was more interested to see how the writer was describing the action of the characters and like describing what these people looked like and what the environments looked like and all this type of stuff, and it just wasn't in there. So that's why I'm questioning if this was even a real version of a script we read.
Right. Was the plot generally like the same?
Oh yeah, okay. Totally. There were no differences at all plot wise. And I mean, we're not going to spend a lot of time on the script. I just want to talk about one thing that I read and I thought was like hilarious, and I read out loud because it was so silly. And it was at this part during the fight scene at Duloc when Shrek and Donkey are fighting all the knights WWE style, right?
Yep.
And this scene, this is how it's described. I'm going to read you the line that is read.
This is word for word?
This is word for word what it says. Ready?
Okay,
so this is what it says. It says, "There is so much fighting going on here, I'm not going to go into detail. Suffice to say that Shrek kicks butt." That's it. That's how the scene is described.
That's what they give you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's accurate, it's correct, but it's like you can't do that when you're writing a screenplay, right?
No,
it cannot be.
No way.
That's not the.
If you're like a random person, I mean, I'd say even if you've written like some established stuff, but like, yeah, no freaking way, dude. Like, maybe if this is an early script and you're writing it in there to come back to it later or something, I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, I get it. I view it at two angles, right? First, like I said, don't ever do this. It's lazy as hell, and I don't care how much powerful of a writer you are. Don't ever do this. But I mean, second, if this is real, if the script is real, maybe this only happened because the animation team was responsible for coming up with and choreographing the non-existent fight scene that was not described.
That would make sense.
That could make sense.
I mean, I have no idea, but at the same time, it's like, no, don't ever do that.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to know like the limitations of the animators, right? So I guess that would explain a little bit of it, maybe.
Yeah. I just thought it was really weird. I'd never seen anything like that before. Where it was like, yeah, there's so much going on. I'm not even going to describe it. Whatever. You guys figure it out or whatever it was. But let's move on from the screenplay because, like we said at the beginning of this episode, that the film is based on a short story. Mm-hmm. Did you guys know this?
I had no idea. No,
I had no idea either.
No,
a children's book, yeah, and it's like an illustrated book. It looked the drawings to me looked like Roald Dahl esque. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I see what you're saying.
From looking at the images, honestly, it kind of looks scary for a children's book.
In a way,
yeah.
Like the sketches of like Shrek the ogre and like the characters within.
Even the princess is ugly and like creepy looking.
Yeah, I mean, it came out in 1990, so this is like. I feel like we should have heard of this, but I don't know how popular it was. I don't know how known it was.
I looked it up on Reddit, and apparently it was a pretty popular book. Like people remember having it in their house, reading it as a kid.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
interesting.
It was just a little bit before our time, since we, obviously we were all born past 1993. This came out in 1990, so maybe, maybe it was just before our time.
So then let's talk about this book. So William Steig, and it's known as a humorous children's book. Came out in 1990, like we said, and it's 30 pages long. Yeah.
I was entertained.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to check it out, there's a YouTube video where this woman will just read you the story for you and show you the pictures. It's great.
It is great.
It's actually interesting. I just looked up like the cover of the book, and I vaguely do remember this.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Oh,
I have the drawing, the structure of like the way Shrek looks. I remember this.
You do? Or is this like a false memory coming back, right? Or that you're producing right now?
I do. I do remember this.
Yeah, maybe it was in like the school library or something. You saw it.
Yeah, something like somebody had it. Somebody showed me it. I do remember this.
All right, take your word. I'll take your word for it.
Let's kind of talk about Shrek from this children's book. Okay?
Yeah,
he's the main protagonist in the book, or he's an ogre. He's kind of a mean guy in this story.
Mm-hmm.
He's a repugnant and monstrous ogre who leaves home to see the world and ends up saving an ugly princess. And the story is very different from the DreamWorks movie version we've all seen.
Yeah, it is.
Way different.
I don't know where they came up with a story for Shrek as we know it in the movie compared to this, because it is so opposite.
Yeah. The name Shrek, first of all, it's derived from Yiddish, I guess, in German, and it means like fear or fright.
Okay.
Here's more info, though, about Shrek that's featured in this children's book. With just a look, he would apparently cow the reptiles in the swamp and just like kill them by looking at them. And if a snake bit him, the snake would instantly get convulsions and die.
Great.
It's pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
It says in the book that by the time he toddled, he could spit flame a full 99 yards and vent smoke from either ear.
Almost a football field.
So almost a football field. He can breathe fire. Shrek can breathe fire in this children's book.
Yeah.
In that flame, it is said in the children's book that it's powerful enough to kill a knight, even while it's wearing armor. He can cook a pheasant with his eyes. A pheasant, not a peasant. So like a bird there. I'm talking about birds.
There was one part of the short, or not of the short story, of this children's book that I laughed. Like, I thought it was funny, just like the alliteration, like play on words, half rhyme type stuff. And it was when Shrek comes out of like this field and he's talking to a peasant, and he says to the peasant like something like, "A pheasant peasant? What a pleasant present."
Yeah.
It's just like, what?
It's really good. That's good English right there. That's a good play on the English language. Also in this children's book, though, Shrek can react fast enough to swallow lightning bolts, and he's completely unfazed after eating the lightning bolt. Like, it's just like he was just like eating a meal, getting a snack.
Yeah.
Shrek is immoral.
Basically, yeah, he's a god. He gets slammed to the ground by a massive dragon, and he just laughs it off, and then knocks out the dragon. His awful fumes, his stench, makes plants and trees just bend aside. He kills plants just by walking by them.
Awesome.
He runs through glass in this children's book, and most animals and humans are just really afraid of him and won't approach him.
Yeah.
So yeah, book Shrek would kick the shit out of film Shrek. I mean, he could breathe fire. Come on, it's crazy.
Yeah, you would. I think in the
most definitely.
I think in the children's book, I had the two favorite parts of mine were his nightmare that he had, because it was like it was like the perfect dream for any human, because he was in a nice field and like all these creatures were surrounding him.
Children were having a good time. Like, it just was a happy scene, and he's just like, and
he hated it. And then the other part that I loved was this part where he enters this room and it's full of mirrors. I thought the way it looked and the way it described was just like, I could feel his like anxiety from seeing himself in a bunch of mirrors. Like, it was like going inside of a what is it, like a crazy mirror room? I can't think of the word of it right now.
Like a circus thing? Yeah,
Hall of Mirrors.
Yeah. Hall of Mirrors. That's what it reminded me of going into.
It was funny though, because in this children's book though, he like is at first afraid because he sees 100 different reflections of himself.
Yeah.
But then it actually boosts his self-esteem, because he's like, look at me, I'm ugly. This is great. He's like, this is awesome. And it literally said like he had a self-esteem boost in this children's book.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, it's okay to be ugly, kids. It's okay, as long as you can breathe fire.
So I can't get over how they did this though. They took the short story and they just love this character. I mean, because that's all you have
and
from
the name.
from the short story.
The name Shrek.
Shrek, yeah.
It's a winning name.
But everything in the film is completely rewritten. Everything. Mm-hmm. It's all new. I mean, there is a donkey in the children's story, but he's not annoying.
He
and
is going to a castle to rescue a princess.
Yeah. Right, so that's there too. There is a dragon.
There's a dragon, yeah. I mean, the nuts and bolts are there, but they totally rewired the story and made it into something completely different. Which, I mean, which version of the story do you like better, the movie or this children's book?
I mean, it's the movie.
Hands down. Oh, my gosh.
Movie, yeah, definitely.
So much better.
I mean, I'm sure it would be different if we were exposed to the kids' story first, but I mean...
It'd be darker.
We watched the movie first, so...
I mean, like spin-offs right off that, like back to the film, like... I know we totally enjoy it. That's the thing about Shrek and like even other types of animation kids movies. It's enjoyable at all age. Any age, adults, children, grandparents, anybody can watch it. And like watching it for like, I don't know, this is probably maybe like, I'd say my like 10th time seeing this movie. Maybe even more. Who knows?
It's probably more.
Yeah.
You kind of pick up on things and like, even like in other types of movies as well, they kind of have adult subliminal jokes and messages in these children's types of movies.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, I feel like in, like, maybe even Toy Story or, like, Finding Nemo, things like that. I don't know. There's always, like, little cracked jokes that you're like, oh, I kind of see what they did there.
Yeah,
but just like I mean, threw a list together just to throw them out there for you guys. But, like, as you know, Lord Farquaad's castle is very tall. Shrek asks Donkey if he's compensating for anything, and as they reveal in the film, he is a very short man.
Yes.
I love how they work this stuff in. It's perfect.
It's great.
It makes it so much better.
It honestly is great. The opening welcome to Duloc. So this is when the toys, they have like the little like animation figures dancing. They go blah blah blah. Wipe your shoes. And they like show their ass basically, but they turn around quickly and wipe your face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone thinks about say ass. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to love that part as a kid because like you knew what ass was as a swear, and I just thought it was too funny.
Yeah.
I saw this one on Google. Don't know if this is true or not, but Lord Farquaad's name sounds a lot like fuckwad.
I've heard that.
That may be just like a viewer little theory, but I don't know anything deep about it.
I mean, I've heard that before.
Farquaad is just a funny ass name.
It's great.
It's great,
especially how the pig says it. Lord Farquaad.
Exactly. So when Lord Farquaad is like interrogating Gingy, he is basically getting waterboarded with like milk.
The gingerbread man?
Like that.
Okay.
Yeah, gingerbread man.
I love that scene. That scene's great.
Not the gumdrop buttons.
This one's definitely a shot. So when Farquaad's like choosing his wife or princess to become a king, the mirror on the wall announces like Bachelorette number 1, Bachelorette number 2.
Yeah.
When he gets to Snow White, he goes, quote, "Although she lives with 7 other men, she's not easy." And then actually, there's a part when Lord Farquaad gets a boner.
I remember this as a kid.
Remember that?
You'd be like, "Oh, stop the VCR! There it is."
Yeah. It's weird, man. That is such a weird detail they added because he's asking the mirror to rewind him so he can watch Fiona again. And there's this part where he gets embarrassed with himself because his blanket like tense upwards.
Yeah, it's a boner.
It's so weird. It's such a weird detail that they added. And it's totally there. It's so totally funny. There.
They didn't do that in the later
more
ones.
that maybe are in there, but that's all we pulled from the movie.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention another thing that I really liked about this movie, just because of its time frame. They make fun of the Matrix a lot with like slow motion type stuff and these like high concept like action scenes.
Yeah,
and I think easily one of my favorite scenes in this movie is that whole Robin Hood part where they're singing their little song and then Fiona beats the shit out of all of them. It's hilarious.
I read something that like when she was doing the voice acting, she was doing like moves because she got trained for Charlie's Angels on how to do like certain martial arts.
Yeah,
so she's in the studio just doing martial arts, like voicing those.
That's really cool.
Her lines during that part. Yeah.
I forgot Cameron Diaz was in
she kicked your
Charlie's
ass, man.
Angels. That's right. Okay. I think we just wanted to end with like some questions. I mean, why does Lord Farquaad and the Knights hate the fairy tale creatures so much? Do we ever?
Yeah. What's up with the discrimination? Yeah, I wrote that question. It's like, what's going on here?
I guess
why can't we all
because
just
of
get along?
the powers and like the love and appreciation of the fairy tale characters, and everybody hates Lord Farquaad.
It's like the witch trials. They're just like, get out of here, fairy tales.
And everybody's just sounding. Even Geppetto like sold Pinocchio for 20 shillings or whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, wouldn't your day be so much more interesting if fairy tale creatures were real? Like, you're just driving to work and you're like, oh shit, there's a dragon. Hope I don't get burnt.
It could be a little dangerous, I guess.
It'd be interesting. Speaking of dragons too, like, what the hell was Fiona eating when she was in that castle for all that time? Like, was the dragon making her meals for her?
I don't know.
What do you do all day?
That is a great question.
Well, she taught herself how to fight.
Okay, yeah, kung fu. That's one thing to do all day. I mean, but it's just like, what do you eat? What do you do? That'd be so boring.
I have no idea.
No idea, man. It's tough being a fairy tale creature or a princess.
Yeah.
It ain't easy. Oh, yeah, and then I think we already said this. Has Shrek eaten a human being? I think he has. I think in, like, his younger years, maybe when he was, like, in college.
Yeah.
He, get a little drunk, get hungry, maybe smoke some legal marijuana, get the munchies, and just start eating, Gary from next door.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's like Shrek 5. They might explore that. Who knows?
He's an ogre.
He is, man. He can't control himself.
And they have layers like onions.
They do.
So what do you guys think about this one?
I think we're all going to think the same thing.
One of these, once
Yeah.
Little Bryan guys are popping out. I'll be showing them to my children. You know, it's a great film. I'll always watch it. It'll be sticking with me for like the rest of my life, you know. Definitely.
Yeah, one of the best animated movies of all time. Like, nothing really more to say. 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have this on. I think we have this on VHS, but yeah, definitely one of the best animated films ever made. I mean, it's a familiar story that's been recycled over and over. A hero going on a journey or quest, but it's done in an original way. And I think it's just interesting because all these new characters. I'm talking like Shrek, Donkey, Fiona, Lord Farquaad, like all these new people. They're in the spotlight whereas like all these fairy tale creatures that we do know in other stories, they take the back seat and they're just used as like gags, right? Which I think is really interesting. And the message of Shrek, it's a great story with a theme of accepting yourself for who you are and being comfortable within your own skin. You know?
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I believe that 100%.
Yeah, and it all started with just a children's book. It's crazy.
Yeah, and now we're at Shrek 5 2022.
Yeah, and again, you know, feel free to use any of our ideas, DreamWorks.
Please, DreamWorks.
We make the dream work. No matter what platform you're using to listen to us, I want it to be known that we're available on iTunes, YouTube, and Spreaker. You can also find us on Instagram at screenplay_junkie. If you like our content, please be sure to follow our channels so you can stay in the loop with new episodes and quick movie reviews. Feel free to give us a rating or drop us a comment on any of these mediums. Any feedback or interaction is greatly appreciated. Got any scripts you think we should read or movies we should review? Shoot us a message on our Instagram or email us at screenplayjunkie.show@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. On the next episode, we're going to be talking about the 2019 horror film by Ari Aster, Midsummer. Thank you for listening. We hope you can join us next time.